"Get out of my neighborhood right now." That's how my HOA president greeted me the day I moved into the house I'd just bought with my own money, my first real home. A month later, that same woman tried to evict me from it. And when the judge finally heard what she'd done, his reaction left the entire courtroom frozen in silence. "My name's Jack Thompson. I'm 32, an electrician. I'd saved for years to buy a little place in Maple Ridge Estates, tree-lined streets, trimmed lawns, the kind of place where kids ride bikes and people wave from porches. The American dream, right? Except in Maple Ridge, the dream came with a woman named Rebecca Williams, the self-appointed queen of suburban order. She was the HOA president, retired, bored, and obsessed with control. I met her before I even finished unloading the truck. She appeared out of nowhere, clipboard in hand, eyes sharp behind that fake welcome smile. "I'm Rebecca Williams, HOA president," she said. "Commercial vehicles are not allowed in Maple Ridge." She was already taking pictures of my work truck. I told her politely I'd be done in 2 hours. She wrote something down anyway, the pen scratching like it was etching my name into a blacklist. That night I laughed it off, just another overzealous neighbor. But the next morning she was back walking her inspection route. Clipboard again, eyes scanning my porch like a security drone. Every day, same thing. A week later I got my first fine, $50, because my trash can was 2 inches too far from the curb. Then $200 for leaving an Amazon package overnight. Then $150 because my grass was over height. She even measured it with a ruler, 2.88 inches. I remember staring out my window as she crouched on my lawn measuring blades of grass like she was investigating a crime scene. And then the letter came, heavy envelope, law firm letterhead. Notice to quit and demand for possession. I reread it 3 times before it sank in. She wasn't just fining me, she was trying to kick me out of my own house. I called 3 lawyers that day. They all said roughly the same thing. In rare cases, an HOA can force a property sale. It almost never happens, but it can. "Someone really wants you gone," one attorney said. I hung up feeling sick. I'd parked a work truck for 2 hours, and now I might lose everything I'd worked for. Rebecca's patrols got worse. She'd stand across the street jotting notes, snapping pictures, pretending she didn't see me watching her. Neighbors stopped talking to me, afraid to be seen on my side. I felt like I'd moved into a surveillance state, disguised as a suburb. Then one evening, Mrs. Foster from across the street came over. She looked around before whispering, "She's done this before. 3 families in 5 years. They all sold and left." That flipped something inside me. I wasn't dealing with a cranky neighbor, I was up against a system. I started researching everything, HOA bylaws, property records, anything I could find. That's when I discovered something strange. Rebecca was using an outdated version of the community rules. The newer ones allowed small work vehicles exactly like mine. She was enforcing laws that didn't even exist anymore. I documented everything, dates, photos, copies of every fine. Then I sent a certified letter to the HOA board showing her violations. For the first time I got a response not signed by her. Fines suspended pending review. Finally I thought someone sees the truth. But Rebecca wasn't backing down. At the next HOA meeting she flipped the narrative. I showed up with binders full of evidence, timestamps, clauses, everything airtight. She showed up with tissues and a trembling voice. "Friends and neighbors," she said, "I've been living in fear. I'm being harassed by a new resident." The room went silent. Then she pulled out her phone showing pictures of my security cameras. "He's filming my property, watching my every move." People gasped. Then she played a short recording, my voice saying, "She has no idea what's coming." It sounded menacing, threatening. I remembered that call I was talking to my lawyer about documentation, not revenge. But in that room, stripped of context, it sounded like a threat. When I tried to explain, the board president cut me off. "Mr. Thompson, this isn't a courtroom. You're out of line." The vote happened right there, 6-1 in favor of funding her eviction lawsuit using HOA money. I walked out shaking, humiliated, convinced I was finished. That night I sat in my car staring at my house, wondering if maybe she was right. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe fighting her was stupid. I thought about selling, starting over somewhere without rules and committees. I was exhausted, broke, and losing faith in people. Then I opened my mailbox and found an envelope with no return address. Inside was a flash drive and a note. The real story. Don't give up. On the drive were folders, recordings, photos, documents. Rebecca's voice crystal clear, bragging about falsifying timestamps and making violations look official. Emails to investors promising houses $200K under market. She wasn't just power hungry. She was running a scheme forcing families out, letting partners buy cheap flipping for profit. And the files were signed by one person, Margaret Foster. Turns out Mrs. Foster wasn't just a kind neighbor. She'd been a victim too. Years ago, Rebecca had destroyed her family. She changed her name, moved back undercover, and spent 3 years gathering proof. She'd been waiting for someone who wouldn't back down. That night I decided I'd be that person. I hired a new lawyer, Jennifer Harris, tough as nails, calm as ice. She looked through the evidence and said, "We're not defending. We're suing." We filed a countersuit for harassment, fraud, and defamation. A private investigator confirmed everything. Rebecca had targeted at least 5 families over 7 years, always the same pattern, always the same investors waiting in the shadows. The stress nearly broke me. I stopped sleeping. Sarah, my girlfriend, started packing. "You're obsessed," she said. Maybe I was, but this wasn't just about me anymore. It was about everyone she'd hurt. 3 days before trial, Rebecca's lawyer offered a deal. She'd drop the lawsuit if I stayed quiet, and she'd quietly resign. I could have walked away clean, but I couldn't. Not after what she'd done. I told Harris, "Let's finish this." The courtroom was packed. Neighbors, reporters, former victims, everyone came. Rebecca walked in surrounded by lawyers, calm and smiling like she already knew she'd win. Her attorney started with a masterful performance. "My client has endured months of harassment by this man. Photos of my cameras flashed on the projector like I'd built some kind of spy network." Then came that same audio clip. "She has no idea what's coming." My own voice twisted into a weapon. I watched the judge's face blank, unreadable. My stomach turned. It felt like the HOA meeting all over again. Then Harris stood up. "Your Honor, we'd like to present the complete recording." She hit play. My voice again, but this time the whole conversation. "She's violating the bylaws," I'd said. "She has no idea what's coming once we show the board the real rules." Context changed everything. Suddenly I wasn't a threat. I was a homeowner defending myself. The courtroom went silent. Then Harris played the next file from the flash drive. Rebecca's voice filled the room. "I don't care if it's legal. I want him gone. I'll do whatever it takes." The judge stopped writing. Slowly, he removed his glasses and said, "In 25 years on this bench, I've never seen such blatant abuse of legal process." Harris wasn't done. Another clip, Rebecca promising an investor a house $200,000 below market once she secured an eviction. Another, her bragging. Most homeowners don't know the rules. They assume every notice I send is real. Rebecca snapped, "Your Honor, this is all lies," she shouted, standing up. The judge slammed his gavel so hard it echoed like thunder. "Sit down, ma'am, or you'll be held in contempt." She tried again, voice trembling. "He's twisting everything, bailiff," the judge said calmly. "If she speaks again, remove her from my courtroom." She sat down, pale, shaking. Harris laid out the rest: forged timestamps, falsified fines, real estate kickbacks. It was all there, meticulously documented by the woman who'd prided herself on documentation. Rebecca had basically built her own case for the prosecution. When Harris finished, the judge stood, a rare thing in civil court. His voice was steady, furious. "Not only is this eviction denied, but I am referring this matter to the district attorney for criminal investigation. This court will not facilitate theft disguised as community management." The gallery erupted, gasps, whispers, disbelief. Rebecca sat, frozen eyes blank. The judge ordered all fines voided, every dollar refunded to homeowners she'd targeted. The HOA was suspended under court supervision until new leadership could be elected. And just like that, her empire of control collapsed in a single afternoon. Rebecca Williams had spent years terrorizing families, twisting rules, and weaponizing fear. But the moment truth hit daylight, all her power evaporated. When the gavel fell for the last time, she didn't look like a queen anymore, just another bully who finally met consequences. That's where it ended, because sometimes justice doesn't need applause or celebration. It just needs silence, the kind that comes when a predator realizes everyone finally sees who they really are. Lesson learned. Power built on fear always collapses the moment someone dares to stand up to it.